Hi everyone. This video is a little bit different, but I wanted to honor the sacred day. It was 1 year ago today, the world lost a force of love, wisdom, and truth. So today I wanted to, for us all to take a moment to remember Chrys Ingraham. And a lot of you know her from the podcast series that we did, Love is the Wisdom Behind Awakening. Her voice still echoes across the hearts and minds that she touched through that series and just in her life. And for those of you who don't remember or don't know her, she was a professor. She was an author, 3 books, I believe. Well, I mean, more than that because she also had second editions. However, she was a force, and a fierce advocate for equality and a sacred disruptor of outdated systems. And she broke through barriers, challenged old narratives, and refused to be boxed in. And and not just for herself, but for others, right? So you'll see as the video moves on, I have some clips of hers from different areas. One from just a couple personal Marco Polos that I thought were significant, and then a clip from one of our podcast videos. And if you want to see the whole video, you can find it. It's discussion number 11, Wisdom Behind Awakening. I think it's number 11. I don't know how it's posted but it's I have them categorized out. So hopefully you can find it. If you want to listen to it and you can't find it, just let me know and I'll send it to you. So together we created the Wisdom Behind Awakening podcast, where her brilliance and her heart was always forefront. And she was the wisdom and will always be. So her legacy lives in every story she told, in every truth she spoke, and every heart she inspired. So today I want to remember her not just with the sadness from the loss, but with gratitude for the way she lived, for the way she loved, for the way she gave, and for the awakening she helped bring into the world. So Chrys, here's to you. We love you and we miss you. Wow. Well, this must be, and it's 333 here. So this is going to be interesting.
I just looked at it too. It's 533 here.
Yeah.
That's the intro to sociology. There's a whole theoretical framework in sociology called the social construction of reality. Okay. So when you're teaching intro, you're trying to introduce that concept to students. And when you're introducing it, you're saying, there is this thing outside my window and it has flowers growing on it. It has things growing on it. You don't say flowers. There's things growing on it. It's got these green things that are sort of shaped like this. And it's got this big thing at the bottom. What is that? And they're like looking at me like I'm crazy. And they're like, it's a tree. I said, who said so? And they sort of look at me and they go, what do you mean? I said, somebody named it. Somebody decided this is a category. This is a tree. This is what it means. And if you look at history, you watch all of those constructs shift and change over time, right? So an octopus, right? We used to look at this creature in the ocean and say, "Ooh, really awful," and "Oh my God, it's scary." What is it? And then we would give it a name, and then we would give it a life. We'd make a movie about this horrible octopus that eats, villages, and then we make a movie called My Octopus Teacher, and suddenly they're attractive, they're full of love. You can have a relationship with one. I mean, all of a sudden we've moved now and we've named this thing differently. But when you say to students, I always play with them with this stuff, it's like, I always say things to them like, "So where does the sun set?" And they look at you and they go, "In the west." I said, "No, it doesn't. Earth moves. The sun doesn't set." But can you imagine being out on a date and saying, "Let's go watch the earth move"? That's a whole different mindset, right? So, and then we do this thing about, I went to Africa in my 20s. So I saw a lot of animals and learned a lot about nature. But one of the things that you realize is that, I lost that thread because I went straight over to something else about Africa, but
I'm just curious are you looking at the tree outside your window there?
how did you know?
Look over here.
Yeah, no. I
You're
know.
still looking at the tree.
Oh, you're over here. I'm looking at this beautiful.
You're still looking at the tree. I'm like, wait a minute, she's still looking at that tree.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. Anyway, when you're in Africa, you see animals not on TV in their real habitat, right? And you're their guest. So, you're not messing with them. So what we saw a lot was them locking horns. Notice I didn't say fighting. Locking horns, okay?
Locking
So
horns.
we would see two rhinoceroses locking horns,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So the guide would say they're fighting for dominance of the females. So I would tell students about this and I'd say, how do they know? Did they interview the females? Are you being dominated? I mean, these are social constructions. We're bringing it, and you have to understand that that even when we do really legitimate research, particularly like John Ruffgard and Stanford biologists really reveal a lot, because what she showed was how those social constructs shape actual research. So what she makes visible is that there's a huge amount of variation. I think I said this in one of the other videos. There's a huge amount of variation in nature, in animals, birds, everything. I mean, there's, they shift and change. They don't do this. They don't all do that.
Right.
There's all sorts of ways in which they reproduce or not. Anyway, the what she shows is that biologists, because of social construction, because of the social controls that go with that, they don't tell the whole story. They don't tell the whole truth. So when we start talking about things like what we've talked about before, about things like sexuality, right? About what category are you in? And I've gotten to a place where I don't accept any labels, none.
Exactly.
No, it's like, it's not about the label, it's not about the body. I'm all about the energy and I'm all about love. And that's all there is. That's all there is. One of the things that's become more than evident is that when we've already experienced something awful, and I've been where you've been. So when we've experienced something awful like that, and it's embarrassing, right? I mean, it's also, in addition to frustrating and triggering, it's embarrassing. I mean, you feel like, did I do something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? So you go into that space. It's a really dark space. It's not an accident that you have a migraine on top of this. So, the hardest thing, and honestly, I don't know that there's any solution. I'm sort of thinking out loud as I'm saying this. You know, given the videos we've done and how we're trying to help people cope with really hard things, here's a hard thing. When you get triggered, it's because you already don't feel good about you. It's because you're already embarrassed, you're already marked by what happened to you in the past. I've been there, and I know what that feels like. And believe me, when I'm in this state, when I'm at my weakest at times, and this stuff happens, I go ballistic. I have all I can do to manage. I went through this last year with 4 different errors in the health insurance, and they were going after me. They were going after my whole credit line. They went after everything, and it wasn't my fault. But I still felt like it was my fault. You know what I mean? So that's why I call it institutional violence. Part of this is by design, you know? Part of it is by design. The systems that they have, they don't care. They don't give a shit what it does to you physically or emotionally. They don't care. What they're after is more money, and it's always about the money. So somehow we have to figure out how to keep, this is the old, you know, the ego versus the soul stuff. Where's the soul in this mix, right? I'm like sitting here going, we're full of shit. This is all about ego. It's like when you feel your worst about who you are. Listen, you hold on to the fact that you're doing really, really good work. You are doing very good, very important, very high service work. It's highly valuable. It doesn't have anything to do with any of this other stuff. This is noise. So you get through it. So as best as I can tell, you're giving a whole new meaning to pink. The pink carpenter. Yeah, that's a good idea. And how big a TV are you going to do? 55, 65, bigger? I can't wait to hear. Okay, be careful, you guys.